All right, so are you ready to dive into a topic that might completely change the way you think about your chocolate cravings?
Oh, yeah. Hit me with it.
Today we are talking about chocolate, and you know what I'm going to say? It's type 2 diabetes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so this link between these two things has been making headlines because there's been some really fascinating new research, and we've got articles here from Newsweek,
Wow.
HuffPost, UPI, LAist, and even NPR, and they're all kind of buzzing about this study out of Harvard.
Oh, yeah. Harvard, tends to get people talking.
Yeah, they do good research.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got people talking, and we're going to talk about it too.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's just get right into it. I mean,
Yeah.
chocolate, we usually think of it as like a treat or maybe even a guilty pleasure for some people.
Well, for sure.
But this new research suggests, particularly when it comes to dark chocolate, that it might actually be doing more for us than we thought.
Really? Huh? Interesting.
Yeah, so this Harvard study, it was published in the British Medical Journal,
Okay.
and they followed a massive group of people,
Like, how many are we talking?
almost 200,000 people,
Whoa.
for over 30 years.
Wow. That's commitment.
I know, it's serious dedication to chocolate research.
That's amazing.
What they found was that those who ate 5 or more servings of chocolate a week had a 10% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes
Okay.
compared to those who rarely or never indulged.
Really?
Yeah,
So, like, even a little bit of chocolate can make a difference.
that's what it seems like.
Oh.
And what's really interesting is that the lead researcher, Bin-Kai Liu, he even said that he was surprised by how strong this association was.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't like a tiny little blip on the radar.
No, it seems like it was a significant finding.
Hmm.
It really makes you wonder, right? Could a little daily dose of chocolate actually be helpful?
Yeah, I mean, could it be like a secret weapon in the fight against diabetes?
Right. I mean, I'm already reaching for the chocolate stash, but hold
Yeah.
on because it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
The study went deeper,
Okay.
and they distinguished between dark chocolate and milk chocolate. And it turns out not all chocolate is created equal.
Yeah.
When it comes to these potential benefits, so get this, more than 5 servings of dark chocolate per week
Okay.
was linked to a 21% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
Wow, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
So dark chocolate, good milk chocolate, not so much.
Yeah, milk chocolate showed no such association, and in fact, it was linked with weight gain,
Which is
which is a known risk factor for type 2 diabetes.
right, exactly. So it's almost like it's working against you.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer, right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't milk chocolate be good for us too?
Well, it's all about what's inside, right?
Yeah.
And dark chocolate has a much higher cocoa content, and that's where the magic is.
Okay.
Cocoa is packed with these things called flavonoids,
Okay.
specifically flavanols.
Flavanols.
Yeah, and research suggests that these things, they can improve something called insulin sensitivity.
Okay, so I think a lot of people are probably familiar with insulin, but
Yeah.
what exactly is insulin sensitivity and like why should we even care?
Yeah, so think of insulin as a key that unlocks your cells to let sugar in from your bloodstream.
Okay.
So when your cells are sensitive to insulin, it takes less insulin to do its job right,
Okay.
keeping your blood sugar levels nice and stable.
Makes sense.
But if your cells become resistant to insulin, it's like that key is not working very well.
Gotcha.
Your pancreas has to pump out more and more insulin to get the job done,
Oh.
and eventually that can lead to type 2 diabetes.
So these flavanols in dark chocolate, they're like giving those insulin keys a little boost,
Exactly.
helping them work better.
Yeah, more efficiently.
Okay. I'm starting to see why this study is causing such a stir.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
But why doesn't milk chocolate have the same effect? Like, I always thought it was just the sugar that was the problem.
Well, sugar definitely plays a role.
Okay.
But it's more than that. Milk chocolate often has a much lower cocoa content,
Right.
which means fewer of those beneficial flavonoids.
Right. Fewer of the good stuff.
Exactly. And plus, all that added sugar can actually work against insulin sensitivity,
Oh, no.
further increasing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
Ugh. It's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
Like you think you're getting a treat and then it's
That's
just...
such a treat.
Yeah. So it's not just about like indulging in chocolate. It's about choosing the right kind of chocolate.
Right. It's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And it sounds like those flavanols are the real stars of the show.
Yeah, they're the MVPs.
But how do they actually work their magic in the body? Do they like directly impact our cells?
That's where the research gets really exciting.
Okay.
Scientists are still piecing together the full picture,
Right.
but we're starting to understand some of the mechanisms at play.
Okay.
For instance, some studies suggest that flavanols can stimulate the production of nitric oxide in the body.
Nitric oxide, that rings a bell. Doesn't that have something to do with blood flow?
Exactly. Nitric oxide is a gas
Oh, okay.
that helps your blood vessels relax and widen, which improves blood flow and can potentially even lower blood pressure.
So not only could these flavanols be supporting healthy blood sugar regulation,
Right.
but they might also be giving our cardiovascular system a little love tap as well.
Yeah, it's like a 2-for-1 deal.
Wow, talk about a multitasker. So dark chocolate could be good for both our hearts and our blood sugar.
It's pretty amazing.
But let's zoom in even further what's happening at the cellular level.
Well, lab studies have shown that epicatechins,
Okay,
which is a type of flavanol found in cocoa,
gotcha.
they actually help beta cells.
Okay,
Those are the cells in your pancreas that are responsible for producing insulin,
right.
and they help them release insulin more effectively.
Oh, so it's like these epicatechins are giving those beta cells a pep talk,
Haha. Exactly.
encouraging them to pump out insulin and keep blood sugar in check.
Yep.
This is pretty incredible. It makes you wonder what other secrets are hiding in our everyday foods.
Right. It's like a whole new world waiting to be discovered
Yeah,
in our kitchens,
it really does make you look at that chocolate bar in a whole new light.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it really does make you wonder what else is out there.
it really does. But before we all go on a dark chocolate chopping spree,
Right.
we got to remember that, while this Harvard study is really fascinating, it doesn't mean we have all the answers.
Of course not.
There's always more research to be done.
Right. And like we mentioned earlier, we have to remember those caveats. Like,
Yeah.
this
Mm.
study mainly focused on white participants.
Right.
So we really need to do more research to see if those benefits are the same for different ethnicities and backgrounds.
Yeah, for sure.
And the amount of chocolate they were eating was relatively low.
Okay.
And so we can't just assume that eating a ton of dark chocolate is going to be even better for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Everything in moderation, right?
Exactly.
But even with all those limitations, this study is pretty exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it suggests that something so simple and enjoyable as dark chocolate could have a real impact on our health.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to type 2 diabetes, which affects so many people.
Right. And it really challenges how we think about what's healthy.
Yeah.
We often focus on what we shouldn't be eating.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
this research is saying, hey, maybe there's some foods that can actually be good for us.
Yeah, maybe we should focus on that instead.
Right.
I know I'm definitely rethinking my afternoon snack choices now.
Uh-huh, me too.
But let's be practical here.
Oh.
If someone's listening to this and they're thinking, okay, I'm convinced
Right.
dark chocolate is going on my grocery list,
Okay.
what should they be looking for?
That's a great question.
Is all dark chocolate created equal?
Unfortunately, no.
Dang it.
When you're in the chocolate aisle staring at all those delicious bars, remember, not all dark chocolate is the same.
Okay.
You want to look for chocolate with a high cocoa content, ideally 70% or higher,
Okay.
and really pay attention to the ingredients list. The fewer added sugars and artificial ingredients, the better.
So those like fancy single origin high cacao bars that I thought were a bit too intense,
Yeah.
this might actually be the best choice.
They might just be...
Huh.
And remember, you don't need to eat a whole bar.
Oh, that's good.
To get those potential benefits, an ounce a day could be a good amount.
That's totally manageable.
Yeah, think like a small square after dinner, or a couple dark chocolate-covered almonds for a snack.
That sounds good.
Right.
What about people who already have diabetes?
Oh, good question.
Is there anything in the research that suggests that dark chocolate could be helpful for managing blood sugar in those cases?
That's a really interesting question, and it's one that researchers are starting to explore.
Okay.
So while this study really focused on preventing type 2 diabetes,
Right.
there's some emerging research looking into the role of dark chocolate
Mm-hmm.
in helping people manage their blood sugar if they already have the condition.
Okay.
So it's definitely something to watch.
So it's a stay tuned situation.
Yeah.
We need more research, but the possibility that dark chocolate could play a role in both preventing and managing diabetes is pretty amazing.
It really is, and it just shows how connected diet and health are.
Mm.
We often underestimate how much what we eat can impact our well-being.
It's like that old saying, food is medicine.
Exactly.
And maybe, just maybe, dark chocolate will turn out to be a valuable tool in this fight against diabetes.
Fingers crossed.
But let's step back for a moment. We've talked a lot about the science, but
Right.
what does all this mean for our listeners in their everyday lives?
Well, if you love dark chocolate,
Yeah.
this research might give you even more reason to enjoy it.
Right.
But even if you're not a huge fan, it's a good reminder that what we eat can really impact our health. It's about being mindful of our choices and really paying attention to what our body needs.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that sometimes the most enjoyable things in life can also be good for us.
Exactly, a win-win.
But as with any dietary change, it's always a good idea to talk with your doctor or a registered dietitian to see what's best for you.
Oh, for sure.
They can help you personalize your approach and make sure dark chocolate fits into your overall health plan.
Absolutely. And remember, this study is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
It's important to look at the whole picture when it comes to your health, your genetics, your lifestyle, your overall diet.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of chocolate and diabetes, what's a one key takeaway you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is just that, our understanding of food and health is always evolving.
Hmm.
We're constantly learning new things about how what we eat can impact our bodies,
Yeah.
and in some pretty surprising ways.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good reminder to just stay curious and keep an open mind.
Right?
Who knew that something as delicious as dark chocolate could have such a positive impact on our health?
I know, it's amazing.
It really shows that healthy living doesn't have to be all about, restriction and deprivation.
Right.
It's about finding that balance that works for you and
Exactly.
enjoying the things that make you feel good, both physically and mentally.
Absolutely. And sometimes a little indulgence is part of a healthy balance.
For sure.
And of course, we always want to say, this research is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Talk to your healthcare provider about what's best for you and your health goals.
Yeah, always a good idea to get that personalized advice. But
Definitely.
it's so exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is.
Maybe one day dark chocolate will be like a, well-recognized tool in the fight against diabetes.
That would be amazing.
And who knows what other delicious discoveries are waiting out there.
Right. It's a delicious world out there.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field and there's so much more to learn. But for now, I think we can all raise a square of dark chocolate
Cheers to that.
to the power of scientific inquiry and the joy of a little sweet discovery.
I love it.
A big thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this deep dive into chocolate and diabetes. We hope you learned something new
Yes.
and maybe even found a new appreciation for the humble yet mighty dark chocolate bar.
The dark horse of the candy world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Mhm.
and keep those taste buds tingling with curiosity.
And who knows, maybe your next craving will lead to another groundbreaking health revelation.
You never know.
Exactly.